This is the RLM spring cleanup and mulch procedure. Step 1. Pruning. Cutting down the grasses, sedges, and perennials are part of the spring cleaning process. Make sure to cut all the way around the plant. Use a hedge trimmer. You may need to clear out some of the cuttings to make sure the cut was even around. Cutting down tall grasses with a helper makes it very efficient because you can throw the debris right in the garbage can. Be careful not to cut your partner's fingers. Pruning back the rose bushes and other deciduous shrubs are necessary so that the blooms are maximized. This is an excellent time to remove the dead wood. Hand pruners, loppers, or hand shears are a good tool to use to remove dead wood. Some shrubs, like lespedeza or bush clover, need to be cut down to 12 inches. This will ensure that the plant does not get too overgrown. It will also bloom better in the fall. Panicle hydrangeas, quickfire, bobo, limelight, etc., and hydrangea trees need to be trimmed back so that the old blooms are removed. Older established panicle hydrangeas can be cut back to half their size if there is a lot of dead wood. Don't be afraid to prune them heavy. Deadhead your hydrangea by cutting right above the set of leaves just below the spent flower. Avoid cutting below the first set of leaves. You don't want to cut off emergent buds. Here we have Nepeta already sprouted before the spring cleanup. Take the head shears and cut all the dead material away from the plant. Sometimes a cleanup to see what you missed cutting needs to be done. Summer or fall blooming shrubs can be cut back hard to keep the shape or in the right size for the area. If you don't know what it is, take a picture and send it to your manager or salesperson to see if it's okay to cut. Overgrown junipers need to be cut back into the bush as to keep their natural shape. Do not cut them with head shears because they will lose their natural look. Junipers can become massive and take over plants if proper cutback is not done. Step 2. Cleanup. Raking out debris and blowing are typically the best way to clean up. Be sure to keep the garbage separated from the natural debris. Use a garbage barrel. When blowing out beds, be careful when blowing the mulch. You do not need to remove all of the old mulch. Step 3. Fertilize. Fertilizing the plants in the spring is important. It gives the plants nutrients to recover from the winter so that they can perform well throughout the season. Remember that a healthy plant is more resistant to pest and fungal problems than a weak one. When fertilizing, you want to use gloves so that your hands don't become irritated. 1 handful of fertilizer will typically fertilize 2 small shrubs, or 5 perennials, or 1 small tree. 2 or 3 handfuls may be needed to fertilize a full-size tree. Be sure to spread the fertilizer around the plant. Do not throw it in one spot. You could kill the plant. Step 4. Lighting repair. Use the fixture setting tool and a mallet that has been assigned to your crew. Place the setting tool at the base of the lighting stake and hit the plate on the setting tool to set the fixture. Adjust the angle of the lights if necessary with a screwdriver so that the fixture hits its intended target. Pathway lights need to be straight up and down when resetting. Step 5. Edging. Edging out landscape beds are important to define the border between the turf areas and landscape beds. Using a bed edger is one of the ways to quickly establish that border. When operating a bed edger, be sure you are wearing your steel-toe boots. Be sure that the edger is on the deepest setting and that you engage the blade first while pushing down the handles. Gently lower the machine into the bed and pull the bed edger backwards. The marking on the plate, orange painted mark, is where the blade is making the cut. Use a sharpshooter shovel next to concrete or other hard surfaces where you can't use a bed edger. Be sure to pull away the mulch and debris at least 2 inches deep and the width of the shovel. Removing this mulch will give you room for the new mulch. Remove dirt left over from the bed edging. If there is nothing but mulch, you can spread it away from the edge of the bed to reduce the piles. If done correctly, there should be a nice smooth line along the edge of the bed. Step 6. Weed preventative. First, remove any existing weeds in the landscape. Using a sod knife can come in handy. Apply Snapshot or Teflon, which is a weed preventative, to the area to be mulched. Be sure to go around plants and not on them. Enough Snapshot could kill the plant if applied to the plant. Along the edge of the bed is always a problem with weeds and grass. Be sure to cover that well. 1 bag of Snapshot will typically cover 18 to 20 yards of mulch. Step 7. Mulching. First rule of mulching is bringing the mulch as close to the area as possible to minimize the length of travel for the wheelbarrows. Use a skid loader or the dump truck to bring that mulch closer to the work area. At residential sites, it may not be possible to bring the truck up the driveway or close to where the beds are. Laying down a tarp below where you are dumping the mulch makes cleanup a whole lot easier. When dumping mulch, it is critical to dump in many small piles, 4 or 5 piles per wheelbarrow, so that you can evenly spread the mulch. Dumping in one pile creates 10 times more work for the guy spreading the mulch. When spreading mulch, use a leaf rake and cover the area with a 1/2 inch layer of mulch. One of the problems with mulching is that contractors end up piling up the mulch along the tree trunk. This is bad for the tree because it invites pests and borers. Before mulching, pull away the existing mulch. Be sure not to cover up the root flare, also called the trunk flare. People tend to overmulch, which will cause us to remove the excess the following year. Absolutely no more than 1 inch of mulch should be used for top dressing. You just want to color the bed. Be sure to blow off the debris after mulching. Window wells, air conditioners, house siding, or walls are all common areas that workers tend to forget to blow off. Be sure to pick up all your tools when you're finished with the job. There is a written procedure for the RLM spring cleanup and mulch. Please ask your manager or salesperson for a copy in either English or Spanish.